Hi everybody, Carol here. Today I am starting with a picture of my cat who was named Panda. And since this is a card kit named Party Like a Panda, I thought I have got to mention my cat, Panda. He lived to be 14 and a half years old, and he was named that because he had two large spots on his back, and we loved him very much. I'm starting with the stamp set, and I'll later use the die that's in the kit, but I'm going to start with some balloons that I'm going to stamp off to go with this pattern paper that came in the kit. And I'm going to use scraps of colored cardstock that match the colors in the pattern paper. And the one yellow piece already had some orange ink on it, and I thought that's perfect. It'll already have some shading on it. And so there are a few different shapes of balloons, and I'm going to stamp off more than one for future use, and cut them out and put them on the paper, but I'll also do a little bit of shading. Here is a star balloon. And so I also took an envelope that came in the kit, and I'm going to stamp some balloons on the outside with some pigment ink, hoping that that will hold up better in the weather outside. It may not be an issue at all, but even if it didn't work, I don't think it would do too much damage, but I think it'll hold up just fine. So we'll go back and color in on these balloons. There are some little marks for highlights, and I'm using a white Jelly Roll pen to fill all of those in, and I think it was a really good idea to have those. It makes them look a lot better and more realistic. So I'm cutting these out. And the teal came in the kit, the teal paper, and the others are just from my stash. And I'm coloring in some with a little bit of Prismacolors just to add more depth. And the pink is much easier to highlight on because I'm using two different shades of pink, and it is noticeable up close and does look a lot better. So now here is the card. This is an easel card, and the measurement at the top is actually wrong. I changed it, and it's actually 4 inches by the full length of 11 inches. Fold it in half, score it and fold it at 5.5, and then half of that, which is another 2 3/4 inches. And the pattern paper is 4 by 6. I cut it. It's a 6-inch piece. And I cut it 4 inches by 6, and on this one I do another one, make it different. The back extends over, but it's okay because it is a two-sided pattern paper, so it looks good from the back. Now I'm measuring up 2 inches. I said a ½ inch there, but again that's changed, and I wish I could take that out of the picture. But I'm doing one of these, I believe this was Martha Stewart, another one of these edge punches, and just 4 inches is all I need. And I only want it to be about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. It doesn't matter that much how wide it is. It's what you prefer. And then I took some little strips that are about 3 inches. They could be a ½ inch wide, and stacked them on top of each other. There are 3 or 4 of them, so that it raises that up a little bit. And this is why when the easel card comes down, it needs to have something stop it from sliding all the way off. So now I'm going to assemble it, and I will give you the measurements on this. There are 2 different cards, and there are 2 different measurements, but the black one on this one is 3 by 4 5/8. The white is 2 3/4 by 4 3/8. The green that comes in the kit is 2.5 by 4 1/8. Now the next card you'll see in a little while is a little bit smaller. Now this is the die that is so neat that comes in the kit of this panda bear. I put 2 pieces of paper together, a black and a white, stack them on top of each other, and they cut out beautifully together. You still need to glue them together, but it gives a nice look. For example, I'm just taking a pin and I'm showing how you can just pop the eye out, and you can pop the little tummy out, and later I'll pop the little nose out. And it just makes it so easy and so convenient because they're already together. But I did go ahead and separate them. And I will glue these and put them down. There's the body. Now I'll come back with the tummy. But I'm just putting them on top of each other rather than popping one out and replacing it with the white, vice versa. That way it's easy to line it up. And you already have the black on the underneath side. The little ears do need to be put on separately because they cut out separately. And but all in all, it is really easy to work with, and a whole lot easier than cutting it out by hand. And so this is basically paper piecing. I'll show again with a straight pin. Just pop out that nose. If those were glued together already, you wouldn't even have anything else to do, but it just takes a minute. I'm just showing how these, when you separate the black and white strips, that's what it looks like. So it was a lot of fun working with that die. Now I've cut the balloons out, put some Tombow Mono Multi glue on the back and let it dry, so now it's repositionable. I'm taking the little star balloon and placing it up there, and I thought, oh, I believe I'll put it coming out of his hand. So I just slipped it back behind his hand, and then I decided to raise the pink one with a little foam dot there. So I have even more dimension, and adds a little interest there. And so it's colorful with all these bright pattern paper and the bright green paper that came in the kit. And so when you put that together as an easel card, that's what it looks like. Now the next one, again, you put the glue on the last little fourth of the paper, and I'm also going to go ahead and put some glue down now for my stop. And as you can see over to the right, it's yellow. But I cut out I'm showing you that I'm going to stamp some packages, but I cut out those 4 strips, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So here I stamped these packages. I went ahead and did 3, using my Prismacolors to color these, trying to pick up the colors that are in that piece of pattern paper. And for some reason I started going ahead and coloring all 3 rows of packages, which I wish I hadn't for the sake of taping, because it made it too long. But I'm really speeding through it and then cutting a lot of it out, because kind of like you see one, you've seen them all. There's no sense in coloring each and every one. But I do try to do a little bit of shading and highlighting even on something this small, because I really do believe it makes them look better. So I will just hit these with some different colors, and when I zoom in a little while, you can see the colors better. And then of course I'll go back and cut them out and place them on the other panda that I die cut out. So just a little bit more darkening and shading. And then here goes the second easel card. I'm going to start putting the little white strips down. I've already put the glue on them. And then here comes the yellow strip that I cut with a edge punch, a different edge punch, one I've used before. That's a Martha Stewart called Deco Fan. Now these pieces are slightly smaller. They are 3 by 4.5, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 for the white, and 2 1/2 by 4 1/8 for the teal that comes in the kit. And so these little panda pieces have been glued. Going to put them down, put the ears down, And I'm going to cut a piece of foam tape for the center package, and then go ahead and put a package to the left hand side, the smaller package to the right hand side slightly higher. You can tweak that, move them around anyway, whatever you think looks better, which I do. And then I'll peel the backing off of that foam dot there and place that down. And even though these cards are very, very much alike, they are also different. Now, I did stamp one of the sentiments that said happy birthday on a separate piece of paper for both cards, and then a long skinny strip from the kit, the sentiment that says hip hip, hip hooray. And so that is what the yellow one looks like, and it is shorter, you can definitely tell. But again, from the back side, it is a patterned piece of paper on both sides, so it looks good no matter what direction, what angle you see it from. And just to give you an idea, that is how an easel card works. So I'll slide the yellow one off to the side, bring the pink one back in. You can see the difference in the size. The one on the right will not fit in an A2 envelope, but the other one will. But I think they're very cute, and I will just show you how that slips into an envelope. If you think you need to give them instructions, whoever the recipient is, on how to slide that card up and fit it into the slot, then you certainly could do that. Now this is the third card, and this was just kind of a happy accident. I saw this piece of paper sitting on my desk, literally. I don't know why. I don't know why those white strips were glued down, or the leaves, but it could be just because they were extras and they had glue on them. Excuse me, and I just stuck them down. But it reminded me of a bamboo tree because of that one black line that had been drawn at the bottom. Excuse me. So I had another panda bear, not quite, a little bit had been cut off, a little shorter than the other panda bears. And I put him on this black, even though you really can't even see the ears or the body. I just kind of didn't care. It's just kind of a funky, modern looking card. I had these leaves already cut out. They were sitting on that also. I mean, this was from a long time ago. And that's a little Sizzix die called Little Leaves. I've used it a lot. And I thought, well, they don't really look that much like bamboo leaves because they're a little too fat. So I'm going to trim them down. Bamboo leaves are pretty skinny and spiky. So, I mean, not that they would stick you, but they're thin and pointed. And so I'm trimming at least this one down, just to give more of the illusion that it is a bamboo tree. And so I wanted to show you how one way you could make bamboo, and I am not an artist by any means, but just by looking at a bamboo tree, these strips just, you know, they're kind of jointed. And so I just drew some lines going down the tree trunk. The other one, I just freehand made them a little more curved instead of just a straight line. That might be a little more realistic. And then just took the side of my pencil and kind of shaded at each joint there, or juncture, and just to give the idea of that. And then lightly just drew a little shading stripe just left of the center, and went back, darkened it a little more. Maybe that makes it a little more realistic if you wanted to go to the trouble. And then took a Zig Millennium marker and just went back over those. And I'm not trying to make it perfect. And so I was seeing what it would look like. So now I put some glue on this leaf that I cut down, and I put it down, and then I'm taking a little ruler, and I'm using it for a straight edge to go back and mark that larger trunk. It doesn't even go all the way to the bottom of the page, but I don't care. It is just kind of a different look. Now I'm going to the edge, both sides, and just putting a little more black to make it have a more curved look, I guess, or more realistic maybe. And then I'm going to glue the other piece that I actually cut out and drew the lines on. I'm going to glue it right down on top of the one that was already there, because I thought that'll just give it dimension. Why take it off and replace it with this? I'll just bump it out a little bit. And so put some Tombow glue on the back, set it aside to dry, and then I'm going to just mount it on some green cardstock. And then I thought I'll go ahead and use, this is a Doris die I have called Happy Birthday. And I lost the footage on this on my film. I noticed, I looked up and my camera had gone black. My battery had run out. So I'm sorry about that, but it said Happy Birthday. I cut it apart. And as you can see down in the corner, there's a red happy and a light blue happy. And I also was showing you what they looked like to have a punch of color or the light blue. But I preferred the white, and I went ahead and put the happy down with some glue. And just for fun, I'm showing you what it would look like with a red background. If you wanted to extend this, maybe make a scrapbook page, whatever you would want to do with it. I just think it's cute and funky and just has potential for ideas that you might want to play with. So here are some still shots. I hope you enjoyed. There will be some videos at the end you might like to look at. I really appreciate your being here, and maybe we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.